Okay, so you have your website set up and maybe you even have a couple blog posts written. Now is a great time to start your Pinterest account. Um, this lesson will go through a couple ways that you can optimize your Pinterest profile. We'll walk through how to set up a business Pinterest profile, and we'll talk a little bit about your Pinterest strategy moving forward. So first of all, what you want to make sure you do, if you do want to use them, make sure you download the templates to use in Canva. These include some templates for creating Pinterest pins, creating your main account banner, which is just like a nice big graphic that people will see if they visit your specific Pinterest account, and some board covers. Each You might want to consider making a separate board for each topic that you cover in with your blog. We'll talk a little bit more about this later, but it's good to know that one way to optimize your account is to create specific graphics for each of these boards. So these board cover templates, that's where they come in. So first of all, why Pinterest? Pinterest is a great option to attract people to your blog, to your business, because even though it does have a social component, it's not necessarily purely social media. So it doesn't have the same kind of emphasis on always be posting, always be commenting to other people. It's more actually a search engine, not a social media platform. So, what I mean by that is Pinterest is similar to Google, and that people will go onto Pinterest searching for something specific. They're not necessarily going onto Pinterest to socially connect like someone would on social media. So, it's a great idea, especially for sensitive people or people who just don't want to spend the time on social media every day. It's a great option to attract people to your blog in a different visual way without needing to be on a social media platform, at least very actively. It's also great because people who are on Pinterest who are actively searching for answers to their problems are maybe more likely in that place to take action or to buy a product, to solve their problem. So that's an additional bonus of using Pinterest. And usually content that you post to Pinterest will have a longer lifespan, meaning that even though Pinterest does prioritize new content and new fresh pins, your old pins are still in the mix. They're not lost forever. So it's a great platform to really build on itself. And the more content you have, the longer you're on Pinterest, the better. I look at it almost like investing. The longer you're on there, the more you do with it, the more your positives will grow. Pinterest is also a great way to express your creativity. Me personally, I love making pins. I love doing art and graphic design, so it's a great, fun way to have a productive outlet for my own creativity. So that's something maybe you vibe with as well. And also, Pinterest is great if you do decide you want to pay for ads. Ads massively increase your views, increase your impressions, they call it on Pinterest. It's often more affordable too, to pay for some ads on Pinterest than other social media platforms or Google. And just a little note too before we move on, because Pinterest is kind of so easy to use and so passive in a way, it is very, very popular. Um, and Pinterest is always changing their algorithm. So it can really, because of those ways, be difficult to get any substantial views or impressions right away. So please, please, please don't get discouraged. I created a new Pinterest account in, let's see, March 2024. Almost a year later, It's just now getting the traction that is good for supporting a blog. So, yes, please don't get discouraged, especially because people are using it so much now. But that's not to say that it's a not good thing to use. It just will take a little bit of time. Um, and then one of the best things I can tell you to do is to commit to a consistent upload schedule. Just like being consistent with writing emails or blog posts, it's great to have a consistent Pinterest pin upload schedule so you always have, a good amount of fresh new content that you're uploading. And I'll show you a little bit how you can batch this type of work so it doesn't take, a lot of time every single day, every single week. You can do it really all in one go every month if you'd like to. What I recommend when you're first starting out, if you can commit to this, if you can't, don't worry, commit to what you can do. And you can always increase how much you post and take a break even if you need to, but you can always increase as you go. But what I recommend is to post and upload at least 25 new Pinterest pins to your account every month. So meaning about one new pin every day. You don't want to upload all 25 all at once on one day. It's best if you spread it throughout the month. And a good way I would recommend kind of splitting up these 25 new pins would be to have about 10 of them before the new blog post that you just posted that month or most recently, about 5 for an older or different blog post, and 5 more for either your freebie or a paid product directly, or even another older blog post if you don't have a freebie or paid product that you want to advertise right now. Or you could also consider focusing your uploads on specific days or times when people are more likely to find them, meaning especially if it's to people in your local area, specific times in the evenings or weekends or Fridays, but you don't have to worry too much about this. I think it's great if you can have, one new pin posted a day to your account is a nice starting point. And you can definitely do more than that, though, if you do have the time and energy and resources, and you're just relying on this organic traffic that Pinterest can bring to you. Even 5 or more pins a day, new ones that you upload, can be a great idea, especially if each of those 5 pins has a different link to your specific page on your website. So, for instance, each pin that you upload on that day is for a different blog post, or product or freebie or website page on your blog. That's because a lot of times if you do upload a lot of pins with the same exact link, especially within a 24-hour period, Pinterest can mark it as spam a little bit. So it's a great idea to kind of spread out the different links throughout the day and throughout the month. And just a couple other awesome Pinterest resources if you find that you need a little bit more strategy and input as you're building and going through Pinterest. Like I said, because the algorithm's always changing, it can be a little tough to keep up with these changes. So, especially for if you have the funds, this monthly membership is awesome. And it can really help you keep up with some of those algorithm changes and up-to-date information. All right, and also you can feel free to download, this is an example posting schedule where you can keep track of everything every month. There's either a PDF or you can use the Google Sheets version if you prefer to do it digitally. And that looks like this. This is just an example. You also receive a blank one if you want to use that doesn't have the names of the pins here. But this is just an example how I would schedule out, keep track of when I create pins, when I schedule the upload, which I'll show you how to do that. And you can check if you do create an ad, which definitely is not necessarily right at first, but is a good idea if you want to pick 1 or 2 really great pins that seem to be performing well. You can create ads for those if you're up to it. We'll go a little bit more into that later too. Okay, so this is just an example schedule upload. uploading schedule, you'll have the name of your pin, or at least the link or type of page that it goes to. And then, for instance, this example is one new pin per day, kind of alternating or going through each of the different types of content that I would have. So there's at least 24 hours between two of the same content types or link. So just an example for you. All right, so the templates that I provided to you for Pinterest, let's take a quick look at that. This is again editing in Canva. If you click on the link, use template for new design. And these are some Pinterest pin templates for you. What I also really like about this is this gives you the sizing that you'll want to use for Pinterest. So if you do want to create your own, you can even add a page and it will just be the correct size and you can start from scratch. But let's say you want to have a Pinterest pin for a product you're giving away. Just like we talked about before, you want to upload different pictures that you'll use to Canva, and then these pictures you can put into these photo frames. So say you're done editing that, but you only want one of the templates. You can either download, like we've done before, PNG, great. Download page 1 only, because that's the only one, say, that I finished. That's a finished Pinterest pin. Download. And then I'll save it to my computer where I have the Pinterest pins saved. Cool. And then when I'm ready to upload the pins to Pinterest, I'll show you how to do that. But we'll pretend right now we're in the creating time. So here are your templates for creating your Pinterest banner, which is on the main part of your account that people will see when they visit your account. So these, of course, are other templates you can use. Feel free to edit as much as you'd like. A couple things to note. Now, I think they have actually fixed this, that your Pinterest profile photo no longer needs to be here in the center. So this right here that I added was just a guide, so you didn't put any important information in this area. Now I think it's okay, but better to be safe than sorry. If you want to avoid putting anything important here, that's a good idea. It still is a good idea though to avoid putting any important info in the top, very top, because a lot of that will be covered up by Pinterest when people are looking on their mobile phones or a mobile view for Pinterest. So make sure you delete all these words before you upload or download your Pinterest banner. But just an important thing to save you a little bit of headache. All right, so say we finish editing this Pinterest banner. I'll download that. Same way. I only want to use the first one in this case. Oh, and an important note. Sometimes the file type will not be what you want automatically. In this case, this template can be used as a video, so you do want to make sure it's still that PNG. And it's just telling you that won't be able to play video. That's fine, because all we want is a picture. Page 1, current page. Good. Download. All right. And we save it. And then the other Pinterest template I provided you are for board covers. So like I said, your Pinterest account can have multiple boards, which are kind of the categories that your Pinterest account is focusing on. So you don't have to worry about doing this right away if you're setting up your Pinterest board, and you'll always find that you'll be adding maybe different boards to your Pinterest account. But say your blog is about travel, you might have a Pinterest board called travel hacks. You might have a Pinterest board called health while traveling. Certain subjects that you talk about in your blog will be also what you talk about or show and share on Pinterest. So say we added a couple boards. Let's download that PNG. We'll say the first. And say with these templates, when you're creating specifically boards or when you're creating Pinterest pins, you also can always use that little trick I showed before where if you want to have multiple boards with the same style, board covers with the same style, just click here, duplicate page, and it will add another one. So you can create as many as you want, and you can use to make everything kind of more coherent. All right, so we created a few little graphics for Pinterest. Let's set up a Pinterest account together. I put in, this is just a completely new account. It'll prompt you with some questions and ask what you're interested in. So that's going to be what kind of subjects will show up for you personally as a person, looking at Pinterest, not necessarily what people will find you for. So this is just something for Pinterest to know more about you. Let's say art, health, nutrition, self-improvement. You can pick up to 5 and travel. Okay. That's pretty. All right, so this is our completely new account. I love it. We will first want to, if it's a personal account, convert to business, which is free, but you definitely want to start this from the start before you even upload anything at all. So we'll just upgrade to a business account. You can describe your business. I'm going to click content creator, including bloggers. And you type in your business. Okay. And if you don't have your website launched yet, that's okay. Just click I don't have a website. There's another way you can always put that website in for you. They want you to put some business goals. And this will be for our travel website we build together. Okay. I would like to grow my audience. Awesome. So you have your Pinterest business account all set up. They're always adding some cool stuff. All right, so this is already set up to create pin for ad. You don't have to necessarily worry about that. Let's just do create pin from the start. And then you can create drafts for your pins. So if you remember the pin that we saved to the computer, if you do have multiple pins saved to your computer, you can always add more. All right, and here's the pin that we created in Canva. Now, all this stuff is really important to fill out. especially using if you searched for SEO type things in the past for your blog, the different types of keywords and key phrases that your ideal audience will be searching for is very great to use here, of course. So, say this is a pin for a travel guide. Best travel tips for 5 days in Italy. So something that's really specific and to the point, but gives a lot of information as well. So with the description, you really want to max out this description as much as possible. People won't necessarily see this really or read this, but the more kind of words you have in your description, the better, because of course there's more chances for people who are searching for different things and words will be able to find your pin the more words there are, especially those related keywords and key phrases. Very, very important, especially if you already have your website launched, is to add a specific link that is accurate. So if this is for the guide, make sure your link is your website, the specific hyperlink it's going to be. And then choose a board. We haven't set up any boards yet, so let's create a board. You can always keep it secret if you don't want the board to be public yet. We're going to say travel hacks. All right, and then you can add tags, which aren't, people won't see these, but these are great for incorporating more SEO. We'll say publish at a later date, and you can actually schedule them this way. There it's for tomorrow. Cool. And that's scheduled. That's one way to upload a pin. Awesome. Okay. Perfect. So next I'll show you a little bit how to upload pins in bulk, and we'll talk a little bit about running Pinterest ads